because it's just us today, we get to be super, super private and super, super specific, which is wonderful, which maybe you both actually need today. Like I said, these things, they have a way. So this morning I was checking in a little bit and asking, where do we need to go today? We have our theme that Spirit did give me themes for the months of the year, which I was like, oh. However, I definitely this morning felt a little bit of specific direction for us on top of the theme for the month, right? So the theme for the month is unparking ourselves and moving forward with momentum. And I just get excited thinking about that. A lot of times when I agree to teach something, when I say agree, you know what I mean. What happens is I will be put through a sort of lesson of my own, right? So the universe, God, the forces that be will say, okay, thank you for agreeing to teach about momentum. In order for you to understand the depths of what it feels like to need momentum, we're going to put you into that situation, right? So it goes with everything. It goes, anything that I agree to teach, I myself experience a crash course in the experience of that thing, right? Which is wonderful because then I'm not just teaching and channeling what I hear, but then I'm also able to teach and channel from my own personal experience. So this now becomes both a combination of me feeling what you felt and what you've been going through because I've agreed to that. Can you believe that? And then me also channeling to you from your guides. All right. So I've actually been fortunate enough to recently experience what it feels like to be stuck, which is new for me. It's a totally new experience because I don't think I've ever really felt stuck. But nonetheless, Spirit said, yeah, you get to actually experience being stuck. Hey, beautiful Liam. Hi. Can you blow me a kiss in the screen? Hi. Hi, sweetness. Oh my goodness, they are so beautiful. It's okay. All right. So what that means is in all of my life, in all of my Ariesness, I can't remember a time where I really felt stuck. Right? Crazy. And then all of a sudden, about a month ago, I started to feel stuck. And I was like, what is this? Why do I feel stuck? And I really had to experience the depths of it so that I can then show up for my people, right? Having experienced it. Kind of like drowning, in order to really understand what it feels like to be drowning and to help someone to recover from the trauma of it. We shamans, we have to experience drowning. Isn't that wild?
Can I just jump in really quickly?
Yes.
So drowning has been on my mind all week. And like I remember being like a kid and almost drowning. And like every once in a while I have like these flashbacks where like I can feel the water in my lungs and my throat and my nose and all that stuff. And this week I started to have that sensation, like just kind of reoccurring, like randomly over the course of the week.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah. Isn't that wild? So that's what a lot of people have been feeling as a collective. And so when we start to elevate ourselves in frequency, not to where we are like, I'm up here and you're down here, right? Like I'm high frequency, you're low frequency, but more of when you get to a certain level of high frequency, you kind of explode and become one with everything. That's when you become in touch with your God self. So you feel all of the masses of what humanity is feeling, right? So we get to that point and now we're having a collective shared experience. We're no longer separate. Now, those who are in a lower vibrational frequency, they still believe that they're separate. And so the suffering is greater because they believe that they're having that experience on their own, which is why we're having soul medicine, so that we can come together, connect, raise our frequency, explode into oneness. And now we know this experience is shared. I am not the only one suffering this. What happens when everybody right now, and there's forces that are trying to keep us separate, because when we're separate, we stay in that low vibrational place. We stay low vibe, we stay depressed, we stay isolated, we feel alone, right? So there are forces that are trying, literally trying with everything they've got to keep us in this belief that we're separate. So we have to make a conscious decision to move higher and higher into oneness, not to where we're better or worse than the other one, right? What I understand about this is that when we transcend, we explode into oneness. We don't transcend and become separate, right? So there's almost like a spectrum of transcendence where we're raising in frequency, raising, and then you see a lot of people maybe out there in the world, teachers, etc., that they feel separate. And I've dealt with this as well, where I feel separate because I feel like I'm walking around just like so happy and the world's so bright and sunny and colorful to me, and nobody sees it the way I do, right? So that's one place, but it feels lonely there too. It can feel very lonely there too. So then when I go a little bit higher in frequency to where I feel in touch with my goddess self, now I don't feel so alone, because now I feel my oneness, my connection to everyone and all that is. And that's where I find peace. Right. So with the sensation of being stuck in the sensation of drowning, and our intention for the month being to unpark ourselves, right? So now today, Spirit was actually guiding me through sharing tools with how we can do that, like how we can consciously wake up and spot where we are and recognize, ooh, I feel like I'm drowning. What do I do? What do I do when I'm drowning? So that's a good question. I just would like to open up to you both. All right. Think of it in a literal sense. Like I am literally out in the ocean at Rehoboth Beach. I dreamt about Rehoboth Beach last night. I'm in the ocean. I'm not too far from the shoreline. Nonetheless, there's a rip current and it's pulling me. And I'm starting to feel like I don't have control and like I'm drowning. What do I do? Now, normally, when we go out in the ocean, there are people around. We normally don't go out in the ocean by ourselves unless we're a very skilled swimmer. So, Abby, what would you do if you're out in Rehoboth Beach in the ocean and you feel the rip current pulling you further and further away from
I don't
others?
know how to swim, so I wouldn't be.
So this is terrifying.
So
This
this is
is
super
terrifying.
terrifying for me.
She's like, I'm literally having a panic attack right now.
Basically, yeah. I think I would shut down. I'm so scared. Like I remember drowning multiple times when I was a kid in friends' pools, and my mom didn't know how to swim either. So I kind of grew up with not being around the water a lot. And the few times I've gotten in the water, like a pool, like when I met my husband, he was like in the water with me and kind of holding me up. And he was like, I'm going to let you go. You're going to float. Everybody floats. And I sink, like 100% sink every single time. And he let me go and I sunk and he couldn't believe it. He was like, I don't know anybody that sinks. How do you sink? I was just reading a book the other day and the guy mentioned he didn't know how to swim, and he said, I sink when I'm in the water. And I was like, oh my God, there's another person that I heard sinks. I was freaking out. I've been on the Lewis Beach. Where was I? No, I wasn't on Lewis. I was in the park in Gordon's Pond. I guess that is still Lewis, but I was in a kayak and somebody was with another girl and we were being pushed out and they knew I didn't know how to swim. And there might have been some alcohol involved at the time, not on my, but the guy that was pushing us out, and he knew I didn't know how to swim. And in his, I didn't know he was as far gone as he was, but like in order to protect me, what made sense to him was to turn the kayak instead of like pushing it out. And he turned us to our side and we both like rolled underneath of it. It was terrifying. I had sand in my ears for days.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I think I don't even know if I would call out for help. I think I would just panic.
You would just panic and drown. There was so much meat in what you just said. So much. Oh my God. Like, whoa, you just answered all the questions of your life, right?
I did.
You did. First thing first, I can't swim, right? So that's an I statement. I can't. You are claiming the inability to swim. That's the first thing. You identify as a person who can't swim.
Yeah,
Right?
I do.
So,
I don't even like water in my face. Like I freak out in
yeah,
the shower.
yeah,
I have
yeah.
a problem with water.
So you have, and so the first thing is the decision. So decision and identity are huge. So you decided to hold on to the identity that you can't swim, right? So that's the first piece. That's really, really critical here. In order to be a swimmer, you would need to make a decision to identify as someone who can swim, right? And
Yeah.
so then there would be actions that you would need to take to help you to identify as someone who can swim. What would be the first action you would take?
Take lessons.
Yeah. Have you ever done that?
No.
Exactly. Perfect. Perfect.
I'm
So,
scared. Like I'm afraid I need like one-on-one training. I don't think I would do good in a group.
yeah, and you can totally do that at
I
the
would
Y.
lag behind.
One-on-one. Actually, there's a pool in Bethany that my friend was taking her girls to where there's a one-on-one instructor, and it's super cheap, and it's like 45-minute lessons or something like that. I mean, there's plenty, and I tell you what, there's plenty of swim instructors. Hey, Ariana! There's plenty of swim instructors around that are looking for work. Okay, so not only would you be helping yourself, but you would then be also helping someone else. And that's one of those beautiful things about when we reach out for help, we're actually doing something for someone else as well. It's a tandem effort.
Right.
Place. It's a beautiful exchange. Oh, so Ariana, we're talking about the sensation of drowning. And I asked a question to these lovely ladies of what would you do if you were drowning? So I use an example. If you're in Rehoboth Beach, right up the road here, and the rip current is starting to pull you out, and you can feel yourself being pulled further and further. I said, no, we're not the kind of swimmers that go out when nobody's around. We're the kind of swimmers that we swim in the daytime it's a major beach. There's going to be people around. She said that the first thing that Abby said was, well, I can't swim, right? So she just opened us up with this beautiful, beautiful understanding of drowning, the inability to swim, the decision to identify as someone who can't swim. So that's where you just popped in, was we were talking about if we were to make a conscious decision to be a person that can swim, or to be even a swimmer, what actions would we take? So she said, well, I would probably take a swim lesson. And I said, have you ever taken one? And she said, she just shook her head. No. Right?
I'm so scared. I think I need therapy first.
Yeah. No, but it's all the thing. But the beautiful thing is that swim instructors are trained to help you through that. They're trained to help you through your fears, right? So you might think that you need a therapy to go, and you could do it. There's no harm, but they're actually trained to help you through that process also, to help you to feel safe and just start somewhere. So Abby, I just feel like, yeah, we found a lot of medicine for you to help you to understand yourself just by talking about drowning. So we talked about the identity of not being able to swim. And she said she would probably shut down. She'd be out there and the rip current would be pulling her, and then she would just shut down. And that's what a lot of people do when they feel overwhelmed. So now we're talking about overwhelm. We're talking about too much stuff going on, feeling like we're being pulled, feeling like we don't have control, we don't have power. And so for some, the natural response is to just shut down. It's also sometimes on the positive side, we call it surrender. Surrender can actually be a very positive thing. So don't beat yourself up if you shut down. Because what would happen if you were in a crowded beach and the rip current was pulling you and there was a lot of people around and you decided to shut down, aka surrender? What would happen?
I'm hoping somebody's gonna find me.
They would. Majority of the time, somebody would see you and they would help you, right? So surrender.
I'm gonna die, one or the other.
Yeah, you would die or someone would help you. And I don't know. My opinion, I say this all the time. I'm like, yeah, but if you die, you'll just come back anyway. You'll be fine. You'll just come right back. All right. You'll respawn. My son has dreams about like being a character that respawns. Ooh, I'm sorry. He has dreams about being a character, being chased by sharks, and then they eat him, and then he responds. He responds. So he actually asked me the question, my 7-year-old, he asked me the question, Mom, if you die, do you come back? Yeah. Like, kind of like, do you actually respawn if you die? And I was like, yeah, you do. And he's like, well, how do you know? I was like, because I remember my other lives. Right? It was an awesome conversation. And he said, you do? Can you tell me about that? Well, yes, I can. Like, how about good bedtime stories in our house? Yeah, so I got to tell him a bunch of stories of past lives. It's really fun. So you would come back. You would either die or somebody would save you. But majority of the time, somebody would save you if you're in Rehoboth Beach and you surrender and shut down. Okay, in the ocean. So that's the first part. But then I heard you say something else really critical. My mom couldn't swim either.
Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa.
And I don't think my grandmother knew how to swim either.
Oh my God. So if you think about life and coping strategies and coping mechanisms and survival instincts and drive to push through certain things or to seek out for help, right? All of these things, sometimes they tend to be passed down the line, right? And so if your grandmother couldn't swim and your mom couldn't swim, now let's talk about just relationships. If your grandmother couldn't swim in her relationships, if your mom couldn't swim in her relationships, and then who couldn't swim in their relationships?
Me.
You. Yeah, Ariana's like me too.
Yeah, I mean, that's so true. I mean, it's not just the water, 100%.
Yeah, right? But then this is where I love the whole soul medicine thing. This is like why I'm doing this. Because then you decide, you're like, I actually want to be a swimmer. So I'm going to go to soul medicine class and I'm going to figure out how to swim, right? I'm going to be a swimmer. You made the decision. You're like, I don't want to not be a swimmer anymore. I don't want to drown in my relationships anymore. I don't want to. That's why you're here.
Right?
I don't want to drown in my work anymore.
I
don't want to drown in parenting anymore. Right?
All of that.
You're like, I want to swim. Not only do I want to swim, I want to float. So Ariana, she said something else critical, right? She brought up her husband helping to hold her up in the water. So I heard the word codependency, right?
Yeah.
When you said that, oh my God, we like so much meat in what she said, right? You didn't even realize it. You were just like,
summed up my whole life.
You did. You just like all the answers to all the things just with us talking about drowning. So she said, my husband, when I found him, I was still afraid to swim. I still couldn't swim. So my husband would hold me up in the water. And my husband would say to me, just float. And she says, I don't float. Okay, here's another identity shift that we want to make. She identifies as a person who doesn't float. And then she found validation in a book by a man who actually said that he also couldn't float, right? So that's an identity thing. But that's a choice, like swimming, that you make. There's reasons why we can't float, actually. So like on a biological level, there are reasons why you might struggle to float. For you, there's like probably 7 different reasons why. Okay. So anxiety, number 1, ain't going to help you float.
Right. That's true.
Anxiety is not help you float. So first is like learning how to be calm, right? Learning how to be calm and learning how to surrender. When we surrender, so now we have another option is when the rip current is pulling you out and you think that your only option is to surrender and die or be saved. Now we throw in another option, which is I could surrender and float. and maybe I'll just float my behind back to the shore, right? You don't know. That's the cool thing about floating. So you could float. So anxiety doesn't help us to float, right? There's a resistance that comes with anxiety, and there's a lack of trust that comes with anxiety. So what we want to do if we want to float is we have to make a decision to just stop, just breathe, and to pull as much oxygen into our body as we humanly can and just hold it there. We have to be still when we float. That's how we float. The reason why you would sink, heaviness, too much on you. Gotta let stuff go. Not enough oxygen in your body. Right? Also, to float, you have to really let go. Like, let go. Your legs can't be tilted a little bit downwards or your body floats down. So that's called sinking. So your legs, you have to let your legs actually be a little bit higher than your head if you want to float in the water. It's a true story. Your legs have to be higher than your head, which makes me want to go down like the yoga kick and talk about inversions in yoga and like why those are so important to get your legs up over your head, because all day long we're upright, right? But then the blood flow, you get the legs up over the head, blood starts to flow down. That's like an internal surrender that starts to happen. It's very powerful. Okay. So we want to get our legs up and allow for the blood to flow and the oxygen to flow through the body. And then we become like a board or a float, however you want to look at it, and then you can float. All right. So floating, there is an art to it, but surrender is the biggest element, which I love that you said you shut down, because we can take the shutdown and turn that into I surrender and I float. And that's a new identity. I just go with the flow, right? I let
do any of that.
I know, right? So that's kind of like the other side of the coin of shutting down. It's I surrender, I float, I let go. Those are really powerful affirmations for when you're feeling anxious and worried about something. So I would recommend to write those down. I surrender, I float, I let go. Yes.
Yeah, I like all those. I don't do them, but I'm going to start.
Yes, you are. You're going to make this your new identity. So, talking about identity, all right. And before I move into identity, I did want to ask, does anybody else have anything to say about drowning? Taryn, Ariana, nothing. She's
It's
like,
funny
nope.
that you said someone would save me because I swam too far once and there were like lots of boats and suddenly like I'm climbing onto somebody's boat just like, can you bring me back to shore? And they're like, okay. So you can, multiple ways.
you could swim too far. That's awesome. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's really great. And there was a boat. Yeah, there's usually someone there to save you when you need help and you surrender. There's usually someone there. You don't have to do it all. All right. So we're gonna get again straight into the good stuff of identity. So this month's intention, as I said, was unparking ourselves and moving forward with momentum. And Ariana, you missed, but in the beginning, I shared a little bit about how I too have been feeling. Oh, hey, Nicole. Hey there. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Because we're about to talk about identity. And Nicole, you just popped in, but I will have the recording for you so you can catch the little bit of what you missed. We talked about drowning and it was super cool. Okay. You're definitely going to want to hear that. All right. So now we're talking identity. And I was sharing that of recent, I too was experiencing the sensation of feeling stuck. Right. And it was an interesting stuck, because it's like sometimes we feel like we have so many things to do, and then we do the shutdown thing and we feel stuck. And then sometimes we feel like I don't know what to do. I feel like I don't even know who I am. Right. So that's a different kind of stuck. But with both kinds of stuck, we always can find ourselves by centering, right? So it's kind of like when we recalibrate that compass, our internal compass of ourself, and we pull it down and we look at it and we're like, all right, I'm ready to move in some direction forward. Which way do I go? The first question we want to ask ourselves, because sometimes I just heard or felt that sometimes we're just moving all the time, aimlessly, just moving, trekking along. And we're not checking in with ourselves to see like, where are we even going? Right? So then we stop, we check in with ourselves. All right, we recalibrate and we center. And the way that we can do that is by simply asking ourselves, who do I want to be? So that's very different than the very confusing, feels like a otherworldly question of who am I? When you're trying to figure out what you want to do and which way to go and da 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 da. Who am I is a very big question. It takes a lot of us lifetimes to answer that question. But much easier to just say, who do I want to be? Right? So much easier. I feel like we can finish now. Done for today. That's it. Just change the question, done. It's so much easier, right? Like when we're like, who am I? What am I supposed to do? What's my purpose? And then if you're just like, well, who do I want to be? What do I want to do? Right? And then we just take it one day at a time. What do I want to do today? Or this month? Or this year? Start with that. And then what do I want to do this lifetime? That's where you can have fun with the question. So I actually want to go ahead and dig into those questions. Okay. So I'm not going to ask you who do you want to be just yet. Let's go ahead and start off with what do I want to do today? So write the question down and then write the answers down. All right. If you need to keep writing, that's fine. And I'll just kind of call names and ask to share. So Nicole, since you just popped in, sorry for the confusion. I just saw your message. What do you want to do today?
Well, thanks for letting me in late.
Yeah, of course.
I was on this in my head. I was February.
I know. I think you and everyone else. Yeah. You and everyone else.
And I didn't check my emails this morning, but I had already actually been thinking about this today. Something that has come up in the last, I'd say 24, 48 hours is something that my therapist has been telling me or encouraging me to do for a long time, but all of a sudden it started to make sense. And that is to pay attention to what my body's telling me to do. I have a lot of things that go on in my head. I have lists of things to do and lists of what is next and all this stuff. But I woke up today in a funk. I've had a pretty good last few days, which is good for me. But today I woke up in a funk and I was in the shower just freaking out because I'm like, I don't want to be in this funk. But I tried to reach into what I had come to me yesterday, and this idea of just listening to what my body's telling me. And I read today, I have readings that I read every day, and today there was one about it. They're based on 12 steps, some of them, and talking about God. And for me, God is, I consider my spirit guides, but I have a hard time talking directly to them or listening to them. And today I realized it kind of made sense to me that my spirit guides are talking to me through my body. And that if I listen to my body, I'm listening to them. And because that's how else are they going to really talk to you? So it was kind of a realization for me. And I've been doing some interesting things this morning because of that. So.
Ooh, okay. I love that. So listening to the body, tuning in, just listening. So today you want to listen. And I feel like when you say that, I feel like I want to follow.
Yeah.
There's the word follow just feels really good. Like really good. The fact that you're being guided and there's an ease to following.
It's so much more, it's a relief almost. It started, where it started yesterday. I was trying to do yoga for the first time in, I would say, regular, first time in a really long time. I'd say 6 or 7 months since I've even tried to do it. And I had done it on Friday and I was going to do it again yesterday, and I started doing it and I was like, it was not feeling good. I was getting dizzy. It was like, it wasn't working. And I kept saying to myself, you should push through because at the beginning, it always feels like this. And then you kind of go through it. And then I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. I was fighting with myself. And then my phone rang and I was like, I got to answer my phone. So I shut it off. I answered my phone, and then it was fine. I didn't finish it and it was okay. And I felt fine. I felt good. And I felt glad that I did what I did. And I don't know. Gosh,
nothing like a good distraction.
We got to give ourselves.
Yes. Oh, I love that. The phone. It's a great distraction when we need it. I'm excited for you. Following is a really, really fun thing. A lot of magic happens when we follow.
Yeah.
A lot. When we listen to our bodies. You will see. I used to do this thing many years ago where I would start my day and I would kind of just say out loud, I'm open to wonder today. I'm open to wonder. And like really cool stuff would happen. Like really cool, weird, synchronous stuff would happen. Like I'd meet a person and they'd tell me a story, and the story would be totally relevant to something that I was going through. Or they give me something really cool. I mean, just like the cool. What's that?
Oh, what was the thing that you said?
Oh, I said I would just kind of like start my day and just kind of say like, I'm open to wonder today.
Open to wonder. That's good.
Yeah. And I would just like have that intention for my day. Cause I was like, I was opening my eyes for the first time. This is like when I really woke up. Like I was born woke, but like I really woke up, into just like my power in this world. And so I was just so curious as an adult in that place, like what could happen if I'm just like open to wonder, So I just was walking around just with my eyes open, just ready for it. Really crazy stuff was happening, guys. I'm not joking. I don't have time to tell you about it, but a lot of cool stuff happens. I'm telling you. So just kind of just follow. Yeah, with no plan. Because our plans are like, we're like tiny little ants, we think we know, we want to work, we want to force and push and push, force and push. I think I made a new word. And we don't really go outside the scope of what our small minds think they can do and plan and manipulate and make happen. But then when we're just like, okay, and then we just open ourselves up to the assistance and support and guidance of everything that is, that's when real magic starts to happen. It's very cool. It's very cool. I should start doing that again. I haven't done that in a few years. I'm open to wonder. I haven't done it in a few years myself. I switch it up. But yeah, I haven't done that. I should do that one again. That was a good one. I did see a lot of magic. All right. So Abby, what do you want to do today?
So I kind of started my list off of like to-do list.
Perfect. Yeah.
It evolved a little bit. So
yeah.
I kind of did I have a Peloton bike and I haven't really been using it the last like probably 2 months, and it made me feel really good. So I've been trying to get back on it.
Nice.
And I needed 4 more miles today, January, to hit 50 miles. So I was determined I was getting on the bike today. I got on yesterday, but I was like, I need to get these 4 miles in. So I did that this morning before we got into this. So I did that. And then I've kind of taken up baking. So I've been trying to bake a lot on the weekends. So I wrote that, and I did actually do that already. I'm trying to learn herb stuff. So I wrote down study herbs. I tend to get like a little overwhelmed by them. Like I'm really intrigued and I really want to do it, but I start reading and there's so many and I get overwhelmed and I shut down. So I'm also learning how to do some 3D graphics and learn how to model like a render of a house or inside or outside, and then move that into some other like 3D marketing things I can do.
Yeah.
So take some time for learning, I guess, in general. And then I was super excited about soul medicine today, so I wrote that on there. And then it kind of moved into like, I had reading on there because I'm reading a really good book about wild women. I don't know if some of you probably have read this book I'm reading. And I'm really like, my mind's just exploding on this book. So I want to read. And then it kind of moved into like relaxing and growing and learning and breathing.
Yes.
Being at peace, feeding my soul, loving myself, and slowing down. And then I added Nicole's listen to my body, because that is a daily practice I need to be doing. And I don't do that at all.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh. I love that. All of it. So good. What 3D software?
I'm getting ready to learn 3ds Max.
Okay.
And V-Ray to render.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it at all, so I'm starting from the ground.
Ooh, fun. I used to do all that stuff. I used to build buildings in 3D and I used Revit, which is building information modeling software. Yeah. Exciting stuff. But I loved it. I loved modeling and creating. You can create like animation walkthroughs of building. It's cool. You can build a whole world in 3D. That's what I wanted to do.
I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Because it's, again, I won't go into it, but if you just think about it, like we're in a 3D world, and then you can create a 3D world. And what? That's wild. That's awesome. Ariana, what do you want to do today?
I'm so happy for soul medicine. You guys, I missed it the last month. Thank you.
We missed you. Yes, I missed you.
That's so sweet about you're going into herbs and plants. I can totally see you like that, in the Harry Potter, the herbalist. She's always talking about all the plants and things.
With her little glasses.
Yeah. Amazing. I'm so happy to be at Soul Medicine. So yes, that's one on the list. I'm supposed to have brunch with Chris later. This is
Oh,
hi. Stuff. He'll join soon, I'm sure. Oh, I'm meeting my girlfriend for she offered to illustrate the kids' book. Just offered. I know, and her dad's did like the illustrations for Tron and created Dora the Explorer. So her dad is the illustrator. She's really good too, but she's never done it herself. So it's like a journey for both of us, right?
Oh,
First
I
time.
chills.
I know, I'm excited. You know, housework stuff. Boring.
Housework.
Nature walk, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
I love it. That's plenty. That's plenty. That's a lot. Awesome. And Taryn, what do you want to do today?
I didn't write anything.
Okay. Yeah.
I was just drawing a blank because my mind just started racing about everything.
Yeah.
So, you know, I like to listen to our bodies and everything that Abby listed. Sounds good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't like that part.
Yeah, that's okay. So I think that's a really good valid point you make there though, which is so I just got the picture of you in the ocean drowning, right? And then instead of making a decision, just kind of like spinning and looking at people, right? So that's good because that might be like you might be in the ocean and like looking around and trying to assess. That's what I feel, trying to assess which way to go, what to do, right? Which is a different kind of it's not quite panic. It's like there's an element of panic, but there's also an element of spinning. I want to use the word spinning, like not getting out of that cycle, right? So staying there, looking around, and then it feels almost like your head's spinning, and then it's very difficult to come out of that place of kind of feeling stuck or being in the ocean when you're constantly assessing, right? Does that make sense? Yeah. So Mama, we want to move out of the assessing and we want to move into permission to stop assessing, right? And permission to pick a thing and then decide, okay, that person is going to help me. Or I can see you being the one that's out there that's like drowning and assessing, and then you're able to see, okay, I'm going to make a beeline for that thing. That's a personality thing too. So that's also important because personalities, you know, astrology, there's a lot of components that impact our past, our parents, that impact how we respond when we're drowning. So for Taryn in that situation, she, because of her personality, and probably a little bit because of upbringing, she would be the one that would be in the ocean assessing what's going to be the safest route and who's gonna do what. She would be assessing like, okay, that person, no, they don't look like they can help me. This person, she's occupied with her children. That guy over there, I'm embarrassed. And then there's a pathway for me, right? So she would be assessing each person, who could do what, who she feels could help her, who she feels is occupied. She would be making decisions for other people, right? Because maybe the mom with the kid would love to just put her kid on the beach and go help her, but instead she would make the decision for that person. Capricorns do that a lot. My man's a Capricorn, he does that. So there's yes, Ariana's like me too. That's a personality thing, right? How she would assess the situation and make decisions. But Taryn, the beautiful thing is I could feel you getting out of that place by deciding where you want to make a beeline and then going to that thing. So you can do that. That's the beautiful thing about us being here in this life, in this personality, in this body, in our own experience. Even though we're one, we're still having a unique experience as a part of a collective. So Taryn's experience might be, okay, I'm spinning. I need to make a beeline for something, for that thing, right? So for the day, Taryn, maybe looking at all the options for the day, you're like me, I'm the same way. All the options for the day feels fucking overwhelming, right? And you're like, okay. And then that's when we shut down. But if you're like, I'm going to accomplish this one thing, I'm going to make my beeline for the one thing today. So I feel like your guides keep using the word beeline. Does that make sense to you?
Kind of, I guess.
Okay. So your kids are popping in my mind.
Yeah.
So can I tell you what your guides are saying for today?
Yeah. I don't know what the beeline is. I mean, I understand everything.
Oh, beeline, like a straight line.
I don't know what it would be though. That's where you.
Oh, for today.
When you say make a beeline, I'm like, but there's so many beelines.
For today. But see, that's why we said today. We didn't get to the month yet. Or the week or the year. We didn't get there yet. We just said today. So your guide said for today. This is good. This is good because see how she's like, we're like breaking the mind into pieces. And we're saying, okay, so her mind just went to, again, the year. Okay, so we're going to today. So we're retraining your mind to go to just today. And what your guide said was for today. And you have free will, so I'll tell you what they say, but like you don't have to do what I say. I'm just telling you what your guides say. And I don't take offense, and they don't take offense. Sometimes they do, but they're not going to not work with you anymore. They're still going to show up for you. So for today, your guides are saying, take a beeline. You know what a beeline is, right? Okay, for your children. And you're going to feel good about it. All the other shit that you think you have to do today, you don't. That's what your guide said. Does that make sense? Perfect. That just made me feel so good. So you have permission every day to make a beeline for what you need to make a beeline for. Tomorrow night, please record more podcasts for us because we're waiting. I don't know why, but I've been waiting for 2 weeks and you haven't posted a new one. And I know people probably feel the same way about me and my YouTube videos because they've said that, but I'm saying that to you about your podcast. Do you have anything to say, Taryn?
No, I'm just taking it all in.
Okay.
Try not to cry.
I know, but did you feel that relief? Relief.
I mean, yeah, in one sense, but yeah, I just.
What about the other stuff? Is that what? Yeah. What about the other stuff?
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
It's just snowing.
Right? So the next question is, this is where we'll go with the next question. Write down, what do I want to do this week? Now you have a little bit more time to work with. Today is today, and this week is this week. What I'm going to do, I'm going to have one of you share for each one, and I'll call as guided. All right. So for the week, I feel, and I might have more than one of you share, depending how it feels. Ariana, for the week, what do you want to do this week?
It's my youngest birthday, so just making sure I have that set up. You know how it is for kids.
Yes.
Clarity on the plan about more clarity. Everything is always like a little piece. Like my house has been a project for years, so now I'm like, I'm just gonna do one corner when I can.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Another corner possibly.
Yes.
I heard somebody was saying about like you can make almost like a business plan-ish for like your, not your life, but like what you want right now. So I wanted to like start thinking about like, because I get not lazy, but like off track or like, distracted.
Yeah.
So just like maybe just writing down like, oh, here's some steps or things you want to do, just almost like a business plan, but for your life right now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Perfect.
I can just remember for myself. I probably won't follow it perfectly, but and I saw land last week and just following. We'll see. Just seeing how it goes. Following, little steps. That's
yes. That's amazing. So good. It's funny because I felt drawn to you and Abby at the same time. So I did feel like I had to ask Abby as well for the week. So Abby, for the week.
So I move in from like my day to day. So like more 3DS Max, more herbs, more baking, more getting on the bike, breathing, definitely breathing, housework. I wrote get through work. Get through work.
Get through work.
um I made a snow globe billboard a few years ago for work, and I'm bringing it back again this year. I had some technical difficulties with it, so I am replanning that and hoping it's going to last the whole season instead of just like a week.
Yeah.
More reading. I can't like stop thinking about this book. Growing, more momming and wifing.
Yeah.
And my son's been having a lot of problems. So like just help him feel better and help him through school this week. And he's been a big focus of mine lately. So
Yeah. That's the time. Yeah, that's the time that you're being called. For getting through work, what are your actionable tools for getting through work?
I don't have any.
Yeah. I feel like we need some. What do you think would help you to get through work? What tools can you use?
Well, I'm supposed to be setting boundaries and limitations and setting a schedule for myself, but I don't do very good at keeping to that.
Okay.
So there's that.
Okay, perfect. So I just heard the word breaks, like giving yourself breaks. And I felt like taking those intentions that you have for more of the stuff that you love and scheduling in breaks for yourself to fill with those things. So if it's your son, then when are you taking a break from the work? Because the work with your son feels very fulfilling, even though maybe sometimes stressful, it feels very fulfilling.
Right.
And heart-centered. I feel very in the heart when I'm in your body dealing with your son. So that makes me feel like those breaks need to be scheduled in. It could be a 3-hour break that you decide for 3 hours on this day, or on, whatever, this one day, this 3-hour block of time is dedicated to my son and baking. And that's a break that you've now set and scheduled for yourself, that's going to help you to get through the week.
Right.
So other breaks could be, I'm going to give myself a reading break, a learning break. So giving yourself those breaks, a wife break.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's a lunch break with your husband, whatever that is. But I feel like taking the things that you want to do and scheduling breaks into your work week is not only going to help you to do the things you want to do, but is also going to help you to get through the work week.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Talking about breaks too, because last week I turned off my phone for like 3 or 4 hours as like a break. But there's some like mental connection about when it's on, like turning it off really like shut you, like, I don't know, out.
Yeah,
man.
you get stuff done. Yeah.
Just to like break, but that's such a great that's interesting.
Yeah, I love the idea too of turning the phone off, because there's some kind of connection, and it's, whether it's like a literal EMF frequency connection, like it's on, so it's buzzing through your brain at all times. It's summoning you, right? So you shut it off, that EMF connection. It's interesting you use the word connection, because it is a literal electromagnetic connection that's running at all times. Crazy. Yeah.
It felt really good.
Huh?
It felt really good just to even have
Yeah. It's like a detox. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a detox from that stuff. Is so real. So I know I love turning. I feel like when I turn my phone off, or when the universe turns my phone off, and because I'll like, I can go for 2 days without charging my phone. And usually on the second day, it'll shut off at some point, right? And so when it shuts off, I'm like, I just take the breath. It feels so good, but I forget I can actually turn it off myself. I don't have to wait for them to turn it off, you know. I can turn it off. It's nice. So I think that's wonderful. That schedule those breaks and turn the phone off. Turn it off. There's some stuff running from those phones into our heads at all times, even when it's down on the counter. And then if you have a household, we have 7 people in our house. Every person has a device, right? It's summoning people. Those devices summon you at all times. Yeah, it's wild. I love it. All right. The next one, the month. What do I want to do this month? Does anybody I don't know. This is me in time. I have a strange relationship with time. Did we say 90 minutes or 2 hours?
Definitely 2 hours.
Okay.
I don't, I'd like it to be 2 hours because I know.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh shoot, did I say? Okay. And yeah, and Taryn, I know you got little ones, but we'll just keep rolling, and then if you have to, you know, whatever. Okay, keep going. So I am actually feeling very called to Taryn. This was easier for you. You still writing? Still writing.
Because I have so much to do.
Yeah, I know, but this was easier for you. When you think of a day and a week, you're like, oh, that's me. But the month, the year, you're like, oh yeah, I got that. I can.
No, like even, you know, like I was watching everyone write and I was like, I don't know what to write. Like I just feel
We're getting you unstuck, woman.
stuck. And then I was like, oh, she said month, so then I had to cross it out, and I was just like, well, I just don't, I don't know. It's just I'm spinning like you were saying. Again, I put, and this is negative, but just survive, breathe, be okay. Those are the ones that appeared on all of the lists. But
Did you say breathe? Breathe.
And then I put read one book for me because I feel like I'm reading a lot for work and stuff. Rest. I have some articles that I need to finish. I want to do a detox, so I'll put that on there. Write some more stories and posts. I'm trying to organize and plan house stuff, so like purging things and all of that stuff. So I put just plan house. I put escape my job, like plan escape because I hate it there. It's not. It's because of the pandemic. It's not personal.
My escape.
Yeah. And then I put. I wanted to learn. I've been trying to learn a song on the piano. And I just haven't had the time to like do it. So like every once in a while I'll be in there and I'll just practice. And then I'm like, I really want to sit down and do it. So
I love that. Those are so good. Okay. So the rest really stood out to me. And I wonder what rest would look like for you in your week, Taryn. What would rest look like?
Sleeping is
Sleeping. What else? And what do you mean sleeping? Let's be specific.
going very well. Like just, you know, I just keep waking up and I can't consistently like stay asleep or whatever. So that's what comes to mind. Because I'm exhausted. But I know a part of it's because I haven't been sleeping. So I mean that's the big thing, but I like where you talked about the scheduling the breaks when you're talking to Abby. I wrote that down because I like.
We need to prioritize rest and schedule it in, but we need to know what it looks like.
I don't know.
Yeah, let's just like I feel called to stop here for a moment. This for all of us, right? Just to like really think about what does rest look like? Take a minute. It's not, there's no pressure to answer this quickly. And go all out. Go all out. What does rest look like? Does it look like flower petals spread all over your bed and a big soft down comforter and just falling back in the middle of the day? What does rest look like?
I mean, sometimes for me, it's literally, like when I'm with students, I'll have like a meeting time, and then when they're done, I leave the class open if they need to pop back on. So sometimes I will literally turn the camera off, and just lie down on the futon and just take a moment. And to me, that's a necessary rest.
Is it comfortable?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What would make it more comfortable?
Not having to get back on with that damn Zoom. Because I can't relax because I'm like worried, like Mr. Ghost, like they'll pop back on. So it's like a semi rest, but it's kind of all I've got during the class period.
I feel like a rest for me is sometimes you're just physically tired, and I understand that, and that equals sleep or like a real rest. But I feel like I had a really tough week the other week, and I just needed a break. And what that break was to me was something that fed my soul and fed my creativity and like revived me, like just filled me up. So I feel like it's something that like just sets you on fire. Like you need that little igniter. So like when you said to me, like, take the break for the things that you like, or, things that will fulfill you, like that really spoke to me. And it's not just, I know what those things are sometimes, but I don't feel I have the permission to do it, I guess.
Permission's huge. Yeah. Permission is huge. That's
Yeah.
why we come together, to give each other permission, right?
Yeah.
Because like if I just say it in our private session, it's like, oh, Athena, she thinks it's so easy. But then we come in a group and like other normal people like yourself are like, you should do it. Then it's like, oh, yeah, it could, right? It's more powerful. I recognize that these groups are more powerful because people think I'm crazy. When I say it's easy, just quit your job. You can die tomorrow. Like, who cares, right? People think I'm crazy. But like if you're in a group and other people are like, do it, dye your hair pink. It's not just me, because people are like, well, you say that. It's different. So we're in a group, we're giving each other permission to do these things. And I love that she just chimed in and she talked about how rest actually recharges her, ignites the fire inside of her, revives her, right? So rest is extremely important. We talked about our phones, and I said to you guys, like, my phone could go for 2 days. 2 days before my battery dies, right? I'm the same as my phone. I can go for like 6 months and then and then I collapse, right? Not actually 6 anymore. Now it's like 3 months and then I'm like done for, right? So it's good to know when you need to recharge your batteries, your energy. But we need to recharge much more frequently. We don't need to let our batteries run all the way out, right? We don't need to. We can recharge regularly and then the battery never runs out. We can shut our phones off, we can shut ourselves off and recognize all the magic that happens during that off time, that rest time, that break. So when I hear rest, a lot came up for me, and it's for all of us, but it's, what does that look like? And it's just, I feel called to really lean into the feeling of rest. Like, how does it feel when you get into rest? What makes it feel so good to you, so sweet? How do you recreate that experience? And then how do you then schedule it in and make it a part of your being? And you know that that rest that you've now created a whole system around, routine, some use the word ritual. Now that's a part of your being, and you know that you will consistently be recharged, and then you'll consistently be in your power, right? So it's like a car. Now, I don't know why, but I keep thinking about gas in a car. So some people, again, I'm one of those people, I'm ashamed to say, that lets my gas go all the way down past the quarter. Right. So last week, my car, I was like, David, on the way home, I noticed from picking the kids up, I noticed that my car did this thing where it went, and I was like, and then I noticed that the gas light was on and it was below the E. It was below the E. And the car was like, Athena, I'm trying. He's like, yeah, that means that we need to go get you a can and you can't drive your car because it probably you'll get stuck somewhere. And I was like, shoot. And I was like, don't say that. I'm going to make it to the gas station. Right. But, you know, I had to take my daughter to dance. I don't want to be late to take her to dance. So then I'm like praying, please don't break down. Please don't break down. I have to get my daughter to dance, then go to the gas station. My thing was like way below the E, and the car was definitely like, you know, but if I make a regular habit of every week filling my gas tank, I won't have that stress, that worry, that potential for my car to shut down somewhere. I won't have that because I'll know every Sunday I'm going to go fill up my gas tank and my car's going to be happy. I might fill it with premium just because I love it. Right. So for you guys, rest, like, what does that look like? And I just feel like go all out with it. Go all out. Maybe there's like a couple different kinds of rest. But like I said, like, I don't know. I was just getting the picture of like flower petals on a bed. A big, cushy, soft down comforter with a pretty duvet over it, and like a very specific kind of pillow, a foam mattress topper. I know somebody with some kind of crazy bed. It's the oh my god, where did she get it from? She went like all the way up north to get this bed. It like the legs, the bottom part of the bed goes up, top part of the bed goes up. You can control different sides of the bed. It's like it's a crazy bed. It's like I am coming over to get in your bed. Right? So oh, what did she say here? Oh, yes, exactly. That's why that's coming up, Taryn. Because you know what? You heard what I said. Did you guys see her chat? She has all those things in her IKEA cart. So I was like, so, you know, sometimes I call people's bluff sometimes. When she said the futon was comfortable, I was like, that's not what I feel. But that's relative because it might be comfortable for you, but it doesn't feel comfortable to me. Right. So it's all relative. If you've been uncomfortable, you might not know that your futon could be more comfortable, right? So you just might not know, but I can tell you that I don't feel like your futon's comfortable. I think you need more pillows.
No.
What, Taryn?
It's not comfortable.
Like, why do people lie to me?
I don't mean like that. I just mean like in the
No, I know. But it, like I said, it's relative, right? So that's why I was like, how do I say this that your futon's not comfortable?
like,
Because like,
no, you're right. Like it's not, but in the middle of the day, it feels comfortable because it's not.
because it's relative. It's relative. If you're having like a really uncomfortable day, then an uncomfortable futon feels okay.
It's
It might feel not amazing. It definitely doesn't feel amazing.
no.
So here's what I feel is when I say, what does rest look like, be honest. I want it to look ridiculous. I want you to get like, hold on, I'm counting in my head. 4 cushy pillows for your futon. 4. And then your futon also, is it like the original cover that's on it? How old is that futon? Is it brown?
It is black.
It's black. It just feels so like old and dark. Huh?
But it's not old. It's maybe like 5. I guess that is kind of old.
5 years. Yeah, I mean they could last like a long time before they collapse. Yeah. So here's the thing. I feel like if I am looking at this futon, that is your saving grace in the middle of the day, your place of rest. Let's make it feel good. For now. For now. Because it's there for now. Right? So, and this is really fun thing in manifesting, which I won't go too far down manifesting, but there's a thing that I do whenever you want to bring something into your life, you prepare for that thing. So you kind of in your mind, like just say to yourself, because you went out, but for the time being, make the futon amazing. And then when you get out, have it in your mind that this is either going to be a gift for the next person or you're going to sell it, right? When you're out of this position, set an intention for that because now you're putting that into motion, the expectation that this is going to happen, that you're going to be done. But while you're here, you're going to make that the most sacred resting place you can have. That futon, you are going to read on your breaks. You're going to rest on your breaks. You're going to meditate. You're going to journal. You're going to pull up the soul medicine and do the energy balancing session from the pre-recorded one. You're going to do all this on that futon. I'm going to suggest that you get really creative with the cover and think about, ooh, I just saw red. There's something about red, right? Red, like root chakra, also in feng shui, in Chinese feng shui, something with the color red. Hey, Ariana, can you speak to this? And I felt like I wanted to bring some red onto your futon. And then I want to bring like 4 soft, cushy pillows. So you don't have to get an entirely new futon cover, but I feel this is so specific, but I feel like you want to get a blanket, a big like blanket or cloth to cover the futon to make it feel really beautiful and powerful and sacred, but also restful. There's a lot that we want out of this futon. It's gonna be like a boat to carry you out of your work and into the new. Think of your futon like a boat. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yes. Perfect. I'm excited for you. All right. That was good. Thank you for sharing all that, Taryn. I love how easy it was for you to do the month. That's good information for you. And when you set that intention, this is for everyone, when you set your intention for the month, you will be guided in the week and in the day towards small things that actually are working toward your monthly efforts, right? Some of us, we think we're like Abby's like really easily can think about today. And I love that when she went into the week, she was like, more of what I wanted for today in the week, all the same stuff in the week. But for Taryn, it was easier to think of the month than to think of the day. So knowing how you think, giving yourself grace and permission to, oh, I can think about the month, but then I'm going to trust that each day, each day for Taryn, her thing is beeline. This is why a lot of those coaching programs, they work for some people, they don't work for everyone, because like all personalities are different, right? All personalities. So it's important to know like yourself, the way that you operate, what works for you. Because right here in this small group, we're able to pinpoint different points of view, different personalities for setting goals and for tackling and moving forward and making action steps or identifying different needs of different individuals. But everybody needs a break and everybody needs rest. we agree on that. Everybody's like, yes, I need rest. That sounds amazing. Okay. I love it. And I love that we had articles, a lot of reading, writing, a lot of reading and writing for Taryn. And I think that's shared for a lot of us. learning a song on the piano. So I also felt that for Taryn, and this might be for all of us, like Abby mentioned her son. Nicole has a son as well. Actually, everybody in here has a son. Very cool. So when you said learn the piano, I felt into your guides being able to kind of synchronously involve your children in some of your goals. So your children, our children, those are powerful little teachers. They might be like, Mom, how do you play this song on the piano? You know, and the next thing you know, you're playing the piano. You didn't even plan it. Right. So that's why your guides, I think, I don't want to like make assumptions because they didn't tell me this, but I'm kind of guessing. That's why they said beeline for your children, because they are little guides for you. So you just go towards them on the daily, right? And then some nights you'll feel called to, and I feel like nights are going to be your writing and podcast time if you haven't already figured that out. Yeah. All right. So let's move to the year and the lifetime. They might merge together. They might merge together, but we're doing it. We're doing it. So what do I want to do this year? It's not what do I feel like I have to do. It's what do I want to do. There's a difference. All right. Ooh, I'm so excited. Okay, Nicole.
Can I say one thing real quick? While Taryn, you and Taryn were talking, we were all hearing everything. I just kept coming, I don't know why, kept coming to this place. Because before all this happened with me, with my in the last year, this change, when someone said to rest to me, I had no idea how to do that because I felt like I had so much responsibility. Mm-hmm. I didn't know how to put it down. And so something that kept coming to me, because it's something that I'm learning how to do, is how to ask for what I need. And I think that when we feel like the responsibility is so much, to be able to voice what we need to people and to accept the help so that we can take that time is something that, as women in general, we tend to not think we're allowed to do that. Mm-hmm. And we tend to expect people to offer it to us. Mm-hmm. You know, like I used to always think to myself, you know, why isn't my husband doing something so that I can rest? You know, but I was in a dysfunctional relationship and I actually couldn't ask for what I needed. But I had been brainwashed basically to think that I couldn't ask for that. Mm-hmm. And resting doesn't happen if you consistently feel like you have a lot of responsibility. And it sounds like Taryn's a teacher too. I didn't know this. But if you're a teacher, you have kids, you have a family, I mean, that's a lot. And teachers don't often get to say what they need. They just get told what they have to do. Mm. And that is, I just kept thinking of that. I kept, because you were suggesting things to Taryn and Taryn's eyebrows kept getting concerned. It wasn't making sense to her. She's like, yeah, that could be so comfortable, but I have no idea when I'm going to be able to sit there. Uh-huh. You know, and that's just what I was feeling. And anyway, I wanted to bring that up because
I love that.
It seemed important.
Thank you for that. That is so, and such beautiful validation, I feel, of where she was and what her experience is.
Yeah.
My year, I think, while I'm moving, so that's a big thing for me this year because I'm going to be moving from Delaware to Pennsylvania. That'll happen this spring. I keep writing. I've written it in everything, is to be open to suggestion, be open to opportunity and possibility. I am trying desperately not to define what everything's going to look like ahead of me because I feel like I can't define it because it's not known to me. Like my I have this amazing therapist. Anyway, she said to me something that made a lot of sense. Sorry for that. That made a lot of sense, that I keep trying to plan my life like with knowledge that I already have done before, like jobs that I could do that I've already done before. She's like, what if you don't even put that out there? What if you just let what happens happen? And that's a challenge for me because I like certainty. But that's something that I want to do. I want to be gentle with myself, and I want to make decisions that make decisions that leave me feeling deliriously happy. So that was, this year. Oh, and I also wrote that I want to start singing again. So that's something that is really on my list of things that I want to allow myself to do.
Yes, singing. I love that. That's a really big one. That's huge. That feels very open.
The singing part?
Yes.
Yeah.
That feels really open. Wow. Thank you so much. I love just the idea of moving into being open and floating, like we talked about in the beginning, being open and floating, open to suggestion, letting go of what you thought you knew. I feel a lot of magic for you with all of that. That's wonderful.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, the potential for expansion and expansiveness is so big when you let go of that little barrier.
Well, letting go, because I'm divorcing, so it's like, and I'm still here.
Yes.
And it's like, I need to let it go. I need to let go of that security of that relationship.
Yeah.
And allow more to happen, but it's very hard.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Yes, it's hard. It is hard. Yeah. And you're doing it. That's incredible. Yeah. Incredible. We've been there. Several of us here. It is not easy.
It's not easy.
No. Not easy.
The big one, to be honest.
What'd you say?
I said it bites the big one, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really like terrifying, and
it's a death, I've been seeing a lot of themes around death lately, and divorce is a death. And that's why I wrote that, I wrote about that in my book, is that
yeah.
And then
I just read the chapter in your book where you talk about instead of feeling guilty about the loss of the relationship, see it as the part of your life where you learned something, and now you learned all you could learn there. Now it's time to go to the next stage to start learning.
Yes.
Another thing. And that's what I know this is true.
Yeah.
I know that I've reached my limit in that.
Yeah. And
but
it doesn't change the hurt.
Yeah. At the same time, it's like same thing as me wanting to work in the same field I've worked in before.
Yeah.
That feels familiar to me. That feels safe to me.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to leave the safety.
Right.
Into this new world
so
of
scary
difference.
Yeah. But I just see so much potential, so much. So I'm so happy and proud for you to be moving through the process, because when you get on the other side,
you're going to be reborn again, right? If you
That's right.
Don't worry about it. You're going to
Don't worry about it. You're just dying. It's fine.
Dying.
What'd you say?
I said, I'm just dying. You're just
dying. Yeah, you'll be fine.
I will be fine. I know.
No, I'm teasing. No, but I know that it's pain. It's like, and again, birth is painful too.
Mm-hmm.
Birth and death are both painful. Both. If you've ever done a regression to your birth, it is a painful experience being birthed into this world, and it's scary. It's a scary experience, right? It's traumatic for a lot of people. And so there are mothers that consciously work to bring in a child into this world with love, with care, with gentleness, because birth itself is a traumatic experience. So what you're saying is you're moving into all of this unknown and you're wanting to move into the familiar. A soul that's reborn in this world, a lot of souls will keep repeating the same patterns of past lives because that's familiar. Or we'll repeat the patterns of our ancestors, our moms, like Abby said, moms, grandmas can't swim. I can't swim. That's familiar. That's comfortable. It's not easy to move out of that comfort and to move into learning something new, an entirely new way of living and thinking and all of the above. That is not easy. It's scary. So the death process is painful and scary, and so is the birth. The birth process is as well, right? But then when you start to see that baby growing, when the baby gets to experience being birthed and being nurtured, my word this year that I'm really holding on to is nurture. Right? Like that's an intention for me with my personal family, with my clients, with myself, right? Nurture. If you think of yourself as that baby being born, how do you nurture this new you that's coming about? You sing. You said that. You sing. You're going to nurture this new baby through, and then like really telling that baby, wow, your voice is so beautiful. You are so worthy of singing, right? We have to nurture ourselves. I'm so excited for you. And I'm sorry that it sucks, because it does. It does. It sucks. I can only laugh about it now, but yeah, it sucks when you're in it. But you're doing all the right things by reading the books, joining the groups, reaching out to your support system. You're doing everything right. It's the same as when you've given birth before. So you know, it's very hard to do that alone. You need a whole team of support in the room with you when you give birth. Right? You need a whole team. And a death, some people prefer to die alone. Some people prefer that. Some people prefer to die surrounded by their loved ones. Some people don't get a choice, especially the last year with COVID, right? Which is unfortunate. But we going through the death process, we experience it, and we get to move into a new birth. And the birth you have more control over. So that's exciting. I'm happy to be here with you as you rebirth yourself. So I feel called, you two, I keep getting you guys at the same time, Abby and Ariana. So I'm going to start with Abby, but I like you two. Same. So Abby, lifetime.
There's so much. I'm running out of paper, but
That's good.
I liked a lot of what you're going through. I've been married, I've been divorced, I started over, so I sympathize. It is not easy, it is hard, but you're going to make it through it. And like, I feel like you're going to be all the better for it. I guess for mine is change. I want some sort of change, lots of change in all kinds of ways. I want to find some land. I want to grow spiritually, mentally, relationships. I want to heal in all of those same things, as well as physically. I want to finish some of my big projects for work. Want to help people. We'll learn, rest, read, do more of what is feeding my soul. I want to find me because I'm lost. I want to prioritize me. Get fitter, lose weight, and get stronger. I was kind of on this mission, and then Christmas came along and family stuff came, and all of a sudden I'm like baking and I'm gaining some weight, but like I'm like, when I'm gravitating to cooking and things, like I want like soul foods, like heavy, warm meals and things. And I just feel like I need to embrace that and not fight it. So I was like, I'm just going to keep eating this way and not be stressed about it. And work on my bike, and hopefully it balances itself out right now. But really, I want to be on a mission of losing weight, not gaining weight. So I'm hoping I can just like stay, but I don't know what that like. It's like some deep feeling I need to like just, I guess, ground in warmness and heaviness right now. So I'm trying to embrace that and not fight that. But I'm hoping it's not my whole year. And I also had down be more open. That was kind of where I ended. And then I wrote down all Nicole's stuff because I was
I
speaking.
love that. Yeah, that was good. What she said.
Yeah.
She said what she said, what she said. I love that. Thank you. All right. All of it. There was something you said that really stood out to me. And so we were talking about identity, and I know we're like pretty much out of time, but when we're going to lifetime and we're thinking about the things we want, I want to encourage you to take the things that you want and to establish a new identity for yourself. So we're talking about being reborn. All right. So a death of the old self and a rebirth of the new self. And if you take all the things that you want to do in this year, this lifetime, what does your identity then become? Who are you? That's who you are. So when you want to find yourself lies in everything that you said that you want to do. So I would take everything you said you want to do, and I would then turn it into an I am statement. So I loved spiritually, mentally, growing spiritually, mentally in relationships, healing. So if you were to turn that into an I am statement, I feel like I am present and whole spiritually and mentally in all of my relationships. I am. That's your new identity. You've decided that. If you want land, right, how do you turn that into an I am? I am a land owner. I am an herbalist. I am a woman of the land. I am a wild woman. I heard that, wild woman. Is it Women Who Run with the Wolves? Which book? Yes, that's a good book if you guys haven't read. Everybody's read that. It's so good. So I am a wild woman. That's an I am. So you see, you are in all of the things that you want to do. You are. You already are. So you don't have to find yourself in anything other than the things you want to do. And then you look at those and you decide, oh, that is me. These things I want to do, this is me. This is me. I hear you a lot talking about learning and growing. Yeah, I am a lifelong learner. Ladies, this was fantastic. And yeah, awesome.
Yep.
This is wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Have such a
Thank
good
you.
Sunday.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. See you next week.